Welcome back to Max's House, your house of transformative wellness. The last two videos, we've been talking about filling up our own cup. So let's continue on with the series. This week, let's discuss practical ways and intentions for pouring back into ourselves. Before, we reflected on things that feel good for us and things that don't. We reflected on how our perspectives can affect how we're able to pour back into ourselves. So, again, now we're going to find some practical and tangible ways to put this all together. Hopefully, you've been following along with each video and you've been doing the exercises. And if so, you should have a little bit more clarity, a better picture about what filling your own cup looks like. If you still need clarity or if you haven't done the exercises in those videos yet, I would say go back. But if you don't have time for that, no worries. Ask yourself some of the following questions or similar questions to gain that clarity that you need to move forward in this work. Okay? So ask yourself, what do I need to be well? What makes me feel good? What are my favorite things? What excites me? What do I dread? What do I wish I had more time for? What would I rather not be doing? In a perfect world, who would I be? What would I be doing? How would I live? What do I think of myself? What do I think of my skills, my talents, my dreams? What do I think is possible for me? Am I putting too much value on other people's opinions? Am I living someone else's dream? How do I honor myself? How do I serve myself? Asking questions like these helps you to really dig deep and determine what it looks like for your cup to be full. The goal here is to be honest about what we really want, what our needs are, and what we need to be well, what we need to be our best selves, right? So, if you need time, pause this, reflect on those questions, journal about it, go take a walk and come back. Okay? Get you that clarity first. Now that we've got a little bit more clarity, let's set the intention right here, right now, to commit to ourselves, to devote time, love, and energy to make sure that we are taken care of, to give our own selves what we need, to give ourselves permission and allow ourselves the time and freedom to do us, to do for us without guilt, to give ourselves the opportunity and the support to change, and to take this opportunity to build a trusting and nurturing relationship with ourselves. Okay? Take the time and moment here to devote to you, to intend and commit to you. Okay? Get the vision of what that looks like. All of that, the questions that you answered, the clarity that you gained, a life of devotion to yourself. Get the vision of what that looks like and hold it in your mind, hold it in your heart, and really feel it. Make sure you get a feeling. Hold that feeling. Keep that feeling to remind you day to day on what it looks like, what it feels like for your cup to be full. Because that is your birthright. That is the life that you should be living. You have to fill your own cup first before you can pour into anybody else's, especially effectively, right? Okay. So now let's talk about goal setting. From here, with all the clarity that we've gained, we can start identifying practical things we can do to start living in that feeling, right? These would be the things that fill your cup, that pour back into you. So, of course, we've talked about it. This could look many different ways depending on who you are. It could be getting up early, going to bed early, doing more creative things, spending time in nature, spending time with friends, whatever it is. The things that energize you, the things that bring you joy and excitement and inspiration to your spirit, to your life, right? Brainstorm these things. You should have already, but if you're still working on it, brainstorm these things. And again, come back when you're ready. Now, from your list, ask yourself, which one of these things do I feel and know will be the most impactful for me to start right now? Which one? And let's start there, right? I'm gonna pick an example. Oop, not me zooming in. I'm gonna pick an example. Let's say, what's a good one? What's a good one? Looking at my notes, if you couldn't tell, because they're there for a reason. They're helpful. I wrote them, so I know what I want to say, and I can cover it all. Um, let's say my goal is reading more. Okay. Now you may have heard of SMART goals. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time based, whatever it is. But I like to do our SMART goals, which tweaks that original version just a little bit. So with our SMART, you're talking about relevance, steps, your measures of success, your resources, and your time frame. And then we consider any challenges, obstacles that we may face, how to overcome those, and then what we're meant to get from that, right? That way we have a clear picture or an idea about start to finish what all achieving this goal may entail. So, again, starting with the goal that's most impactful for you right now, I'm going to use the example of reading more. So, one, we're going to evaluate the relevance of the goal as it relates to filling my cup and pouring back into me. And then we're going to identify the possible steps we can take to get there. So, if I want to read more, how is this relevant to filling back into my cup and pouring back into me? Well, I love reading. I've been reading since I was 2. It's one of my favorite things to do. But of course, life gets busy. We can choose or not choose to make time for it. For me, I wasn't making time for it anymore. I mean, I was reading, but I was reading textbooks. I was studying. So I didn't get to, just read all of the things for my enjoyment. So that's how it's relevant to filling back up my cup. Now, the possible steps I can take to get there: read a page a day, read 2 pages a day. It's as simple as read 5 minutes a day. Whatever you can take, the smallest step, even if it's the smallest, take it. It'll get you further than you were before, right? So, the next thing, like I said, identifying our measures of success. This is going to be how will we know when we're reaching the goal? So, if my goal is reading more, and let's say some steps are reading 5 minutes a day or a page a day, well, if last week I only read for one day, but this week I read for 2 or 3 days in a row, that's a measure of success. That's how I know I'm making progress. Okay, so however many more days that I'm reading, that's my measure of success. Next, we identify what resources we might need. And so obviously for me, I need books. I need material to read. Some people like digital books, Kindles, Nooks, PDFs, whatever. Some people like physical hard copy books. I think I prefer those, but some books I don't have, some PDFs I do have. And so I just do what I got to do, right? So you identify whatever resources you might need. It may be money, it may be a physical thing, it may just be time, space, energy, quiet. Like whatever the resource is, identify it. So that way you know what you need to achieve this goal and that you can make sure that you have that when it's time for you to work on that goal. Okay. Lastly, like I said, we want to identify what challenges, tests, or lessons we might face and what ways we can overcome them. So, if my goal is to read more and maybe I want to read a page or 5 minutes a day, what challenges or tests or lessons may I face coming against that? Well, I could have a busy schedule. I could not feel like it. Maybe I don't have nothing to read. That's really highly unlikely because if you got a phone, you always got something to read. But let's just say my time gets too busy, or my schedule gets too busy, and I don't feel like I have the time. Well, what ways can I overcome that? I could set a specific time to read. So maybe in the morning, first thing when I get up, maybe when I'm using the bathroom, maybe right before bed, maybe on lunch. There's ways, there's always solutions. So again, even if it's the smallest step, the smallest solution, take it. It'll get you further than you were. Okay. And then the final step in this is identifying what results will come of you achieving the goal. So if my goal is to read more, obviously, yes, the result is I'm reading more. I've read more books. You might say whoop de doo. But the bigger picture of that is I made intentional time to do something that I enjoy, to do something that I like that pours back into me. Whether I'm reading fiction, nonfiction, learning more or not, this is something that's good for me, that helps me to be well, that helps me to be my authentic self. And so taking the time to intentionally do that is the value result that I get from it. So consider it with whatever impactful goal you selected for right now. Consider all of these things referencing that goal and relating back to filling up your own cup, pouring back into you. I find that setting goals in this way helps to draw a more clear and tangible picture of what we expect to achieve and how to do it. Of course, things can change. If you haven't, go watch Max the Divine's video where she was like, me, you know, things don't always go as planned, but we just accept that and we flow with it because we don't know everything, right? We can plan what we plan, but sometimes we're redirected for the better, right? So though things can change, you'll still have a better idea about what this journey can look like for you. There's no one way. So, this is just a peek into an opportunity or a perspective of what it can look like for you, right? You're not going about the journey blindly, because if you don't know where you're going, you probably won't really get anywhere. You may go in circles, you may stay stagnant, you may get somewhere, but it may not be in alignment with what you wanted, who you are, anything like that. So if you know where you're going, you have a better chance of getting there. Period, point blank. I hope this was helpful to you. I'm so happy that you decided to embark on this journey and start filling your own cup. I'm proud of you for making it this far, and I'm happy and looking forward to hearing about your progress. So feel free to comment, email, send me a DM if you need any help. If you have something that you want to share, do those things. Follow us on the socials. And of course, if you need further support, you know where to find me. You can go to www.maxishouse.us. That's us, not US. Or, like I said, send me a DM and we'll get into it. Okay? Take the time to pour into you. Subscribe to my channel. Turn on notifications so you know about the next video. Share this with somebody who may need it. And I will talk to you soon. I love you. Bye.